No, I'm telling you, Jared from Subway was less creepy than whatever the hell Gluttony was, this other worlder. Like, this man, he got me heated. I was ready for Truck-kun to slam into me and isekai me into this world. I wanted to strangle a fool. Fantastic episode with an amazing resolution. Honestly, you could have serviced this as a season finale with a few tweaks and it would have functioned quite well. Tama's resolution, her actually pulling out the W because of her own sheer will, and also abilities that were already given to her. We didn't need to really buff her, we just needed to show her the story of her life. But Gluttony was just a prick. Like, this dude just had the biggest stranger danger vibes. It doesn't help that his ability is literally a giant mouth that consumes people. But the man himself admits he's a predator. To be fair, he's probably thinking it being more of a, I'm a predator, I hunt my prey. But let's all be honest. We know this man wasn't allowed in a 1,000-foot radius to any schools. Let's just be honest. This dude was a goddamn freak of nature. And the fact that we not only body him to death, Tama did kill this man. But apparently when you eat the dark one, it allows you to come back as some weird abomination. But the fact that you don't see it often, but maybe once, maybe twice if you're real lucky in a year, but usually more close to a singular time a year in anime, there will be a character who cuts off the cutscene. And the idea of killing a boss in the middle of a cutscene before they can do anything, and the fact that the daughter came in of the Dark One and just cut his head off and then just Exodia obliterated him. Fantastic episode, but every time this predator talked, I got more and more heated, and I was just like, you know what? I am so glad we're setting it up so he doesn't get to have a second chance. Because, wannabe Elon Musk over here thought he had such a hard life because he was rich. Womp womp. I have full live reactions over on Patreon. If you want to see my full link of thought to any of these episodes, it's going to be over there exclusively. So, I was under the assumption last week that, you know, we were going to send him back to his world. And, you know, honestly, we could have sent his bitch ass back to his world and he could have immediately got arrested. That could have been a very satisfying resolution too, him just rotting away for life. But then, I saw a lot of people last week being like, oh, you know, what if Sensei writes the story about Tama and then in return it buffs her? And I was like, yeah, that could definitely be a possibility. And honestly, it felt like we were doing it. But I kind of like what they did instead. So it turns out Tama had like this crest ever since she was a child, but because obviously she knew her dad didn't want her to fight, she never really progressed with it. So in return, it's almost like sealing away your talents. And honestly, shocking reveal that the dad knew about that since she was a kid. And I just kind of appreciate the fact that rather than going a toxic way with it, like, I think there's still an element of toxicity, the idea that just because she was a girl, she wasn't allowed to, you know, fight or do this or that. But I appreciate that despite, you know, the culture and the times, you know, basically promoting that belief, the dad was actually fairly progressive, as seen by his resolution at the end of this arc, allowing her to go off with Sensei and their crazy-ass adventures. But the idea that the family was generally good to each other and cared about each other, and it really just boiled down to a dad not wanting his daughter to risk her life, you know, that's more of the son's place, because that's just how it was. May not necessarily excuse it, but it makes sense and it comes across in a more natural and family-driven light than just, you're a pathetic girl, you can't do it. It's, I don't want you to die, which is a lot easier to digest. But the idea that, you know, getting that book and writing that story of how tragic it is, Sensei doesn't even want to write a book about this dude. He's like, you're basically, he got called pathetic by the most suicidal guy alive, which, damn, does that have to sting. And the idea of rather than like boosting her, it just felt more like opening up her eyes to her story and her like, you know, unshackling that power that she's withheld for so long. She literally became One Punch Man. She did 2 moves, 2 attacks, but really the first one was more of like a stun grenade. She clapped real aggressively in his face and just like disoriented him. And then did this punch where like each of the circles, like summoning circles, went and just Exodia obliterated him. It was just awesome. It really was. And it felt very rewarding because Tama being the one to do that just makes it feel like she's actually overcoming those chains. And I love the chain detail that they did of the chain shattering in order for her to be set free. Just fantastic stuff. But Gluttony, this man was just predator. The fact that the first shot we see, so he's talking about how hard his life is. First shot we see in his original world is him floating in a pool with the mansion behind him. And I thought to myself, nope. You are rich. Anyone can have depression, whether you're poor or rich. That is true. But you immediately knew This man was pathetic. And the fact... I thought he killed that maid, but the fact that he just got bored and said, yeah, you know what? I need to feel something. Stabs a maid with a fork. Parents then have to give hush money. Truck-kun was too good for this guy. What should have happened was Honda-kun. Honda-kun does an isekai. Honda-kun just runs you over, reverses, and does it a few more times. You're not even dead at that point. You're just feeling excruciating pain. And then some elderly woman looks and says, did I hit anything? And then just drives away. That's what this man actually deserved. This dude, serial killer in the making. And then what happens? Gets thrown into a world where he gets to be a serial killer with no repercussions. That shit pissed me off. I was waiting for a Truck-kun to isekai me so I could go smack this bitch ass around. But damn, did Tama do a great job with it. It's kind of good though that the daughter of the Dark One came, because Tama was knocked out. I don't know, like, would Sensei been able to do anything? It's hard to say because he didn't want to write a story to send. I don't know. It's like, it would have been spicy. Like, either Sensei would have pulled some bullshit from his ass, or maybe the dad would have had to sacrifice his life. So that, like, cutting the boss off in the middle of a cutscene, he's giving this big dramatic speech about how great he is, and literally just head flies. You can tell the dude was brain dead though, because you were shit talking a person who just cut your head off, talking about how great her dad tasted. Like, great, you wanted to eat her dad's ass, congratulations. Like, what the... Bro, this is not the time to talk about your sexual fetishes, bro. Like, you're about to die. Like, you should be begging. And then she just obliterates him. It's very funny though, because Sensei just kind of casually being like, do you have any of that for me? Boy's just hoping he gets killed. It's kind of funny though, because what ended up happening at the very start is I thought Sensei did something like with his book, because he's always holding his book when he writes. But the fact that this dude's instincts was to not eat him. He didn't understand why, but it's good instincts, because if he would have took a bite at a Sensei, he would have poisoned himself. This dude is literally a walking toxin, just an absolute maniac. But fantastic arc, the resolution, letting his daughter go. Though I do have to question sometimes, like when she was like hanging upside the tree, like how did her top stay on? Like the seamstress who made her clothing should probably get a raise, because I don't know how the support functioned like that, but bravo. Sensei criticizing this poor kid as he's dragging his bitch ass in the coffin, like, thank you, like, you have yet to even write in wheels to this story, so they don't have to drag you in a coffin up a hill. Show just keeps getting better. This got pissed me off this week, but in all the right ways, and it was so satisfying, because when you compare the first character we sent back, deserving of a second chance, and this dude got bodied not once but twice, not deserving of a second chance. Very rewarding show. Of course, those are my feelings though. Let me know your thoughts down below. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new around here, of course, ring that bell. And like I mentioned, we got those full live reactions over on Patreon, and hey, while you're over there, I'll also give you a video shout out. Alright, so today we got Xtrox, Conrad Sosin, Sovereign, Antonia Rose, Tobias Reinhold, Jonas Welbling, Flavdorks 414, and we also have Wen2X. So I appreciate the support, everyone. Please take care, and y'all have a good one.